Welcome to the Bourbon Van. I'm Phil.
I'm Julie. Let's talk Texas. Everything's bigger, bolder, brasher in Texas, and that's the same with the whiskey we're tasting today.
And me. I'm ready to be real aggressive today. Well, El Paso, unfortunately, is our furthest point on I-10 that we are going to make it on this trip. Julie has a work meeting that we got called back for in Tucson, Arizona. So plans changed. We have circled around. We are officially heading westbound again, back toward our home in Oregon. In the meantime, we have some cool places to stop in and see. There's some stuff we missed on the way. I'm sure there will be some stuff we missed going the other direction too. But the main reason for us to go to El Paso was to do a little whiskey hunting. You see, we really enjoy Texas whiskeys. We've had a great time exploring all the whiskeys that we've found on this trip, especially the American single malts and things like that. But Texas whiskey, very unique, and we don't get a ton of it where we're from. So we are going to be keeping our eyes open. We're going to start this trip with a little bit of whiskey hunting. Check this out. Our first liquor store stop in El Paso isn't actually in El Paso. We are in Sunland Park, New Mexico, which is right on the border. And side door liquor store here. It's connected to a barbecue restaurant we went to the other day, State Line Barbecue. And we came in here afterwards. We weren't really expecting that much. And by the way, State Line Barbecue, get the chips and queso and add the brisket. You will not be disappointed. But we bought some things here because we were really surprised by the prices and also because, you know, we wanted the bottles. One bottle we talk about a lot that we don't see all the time, Nikka whiskey from the barrel. This is a whiskey from Japan that is 102.8 proof, and I kept the receipt to make sure that I got this right. $79.99, that's pretty reasonable for this. We've seen it upwards of $100 here and there, and we just don't see it very often, so we're excited to get this one. Julie loves this bottle. Next up is a bottle that we've received samples of from several people over the years, and we always enjoyed it. It's actually a Scotch whiskey from Islay, but it's non-peated, the classic Laddie from Bruichladdich. And this one, we get it locally in Oregon when we see it for more than $80. Got this one for $56.99. Pretty excited about it. 100 proof, love this one, and so excited to have a Scotch in the van after this is day 76, I believe we're recording on, so it's been a minute. Lastly is a bottle that a lot of people might not go for, but we're big fans of it. It is Dickel 9-year Tennessee whiskey. This is a single barrel. It's 93, 94 proof, and what we really liked about this one is the price. It was $17.99. Apparently they bought too much of it. I don't know. Usually we see these bottles about $45 or $50, so $17.99, it's worth taking a flyer on, and we're really excited about this. So there you go, a nice low-proof Tennessee sipper, a Scotch whiskey, and a whiskey from Japan. Super stoked to get all of them, and for one low price of $154.97. Not too shabby. Stop number 2 on this El Paso / New Mexico whiskey hunting trip. We went to a Total Wine, the only one in El Paso, Texas. We found a bottle that we've been looking for since our Advent tournament last year, and this is Hooten Young American Whiskey, aged 12 years, batch number 1. It's a 92 proof whiskey. The reason that we wanted this one so badly is because during the Advent tournament, we were wowed by it. It seriously knocked out some heavy hitters. It was totally unexpected for us. We've never seen this bottle before or this brand, had no idea what we were in for. But sure enough, we found it here, and we've seen it online for over $100. We got this for $73.99, this Hooten Young, and man, nice, easy sipper with some nice age. Very complex for that proof point, probably because of that age, and we were excited to have this in the van and to bring it home, of course. Next up is one of 2 Texas whiskeys that we found. This is a $50 beauty, and is a brand we always have our eyes open for. This is Ironroot, and this is their Promethean. We don't honestly know that much about it, but it was the only bottle that they had there. This was P19 edition, 35 months aged straight bourbon whiskey, a dark and brooding creative rebel. Hey, just like me. So that's $50.99 there for Ironroot. So excited to bring yet another one of these home. Look at the color on that. You just know that the flavor on this is going to be rich and decadent. That's just how Ironroot rolls, and I'm very excited to have a 100 proofer from them in the van. Honestly, we were looking for anything we could get from them, and just finding one bottle, well worth the trip to Texas. Last bottle we picked up at the Total Wine, Andalusia Whiskey Company, or Andalusia, I suppose. This is the Striker, spelled with a Y, so you know they're serious about it. This is Texas smoked single malt whiskey, distilled and bottled in Blanco, Texas, USA. And it's 100 proof. This is backyard barbecue whiskey at its best, my friend. How about that? I love to see that on a bottle. This bottle adopts the Scottish tradition of smoking malted barley, destined to be used in their signature Islay scotches. Rather than burning peat, however, Striker is mashed from malted barley that has been smoked with oak, mesquite, and apple woods. So we expect this to be very complex. This, I believe, was Whiskey Advocate's one of their top 10 whiskeys just a couple of years ago, and it's the first time we've ever seen this brand, but we had our eyes open for it because we keep hearing good things about it. This bottle was $55.99, again 100 proof, and what can I say, we just picked up yet another single malt whiskey on this trip. Who are we? We're the single malt van now. That's who we are. We made one last stop today. Julie ran in to do some laundry. I had a couple of errands to run, and I saw a store called Specs. Never seen a Specs in my life, but it had a cute little bunny rabbit or something on the sign. I'm not sure what sort of critter it was, but this is a Texas family-owned institution since 1962, apparently. I don't know. You guys are probably a lot more familiar with it than I am. But I went in there, I didn't really see anything that I liked, but on the way out, there was a shelf that seemed to have some one-off bottles on it, and something caught my eye because it's something I've never, ever seen before. The brand actually won my top bottle in the Advent tournament for 2023. So you know that this is something that I've been keeping my eyes open for. It's Lucky 7. This is the Holiday Toast. And I'm so excited to find this bottle. Look at that. Isn't that great? It's a little gaudy. I don't care. I think it looks great. It's 115 proof, double oaked, finished in toasted new American oak barrels. And this one we got for a grand total of $84.99, which, as good as the Lucky 7 was that we tried previously, I think that's pretty okay. This strikes me as a relatively rare bottle. Again, never seen one before, but look at that. The cork looks cool. The topper, everything about this bottle screams class. And if it's anywhere near as good as that Proprietor 14-year was, we're in for a treat.
Man, sometimes those little locations, they really surprise you. I loved it.
Sometimes the big locations surprise you.
That's true, too.
That Lucky 7 was an amazing find. I can't wait to bring that one home and get into it. The bottle we've chosen to do a tasting of today, because we have to taste some Texas whiskey for you, it's this Ironroot right here. It is Ironroot Promethean. This is 100 proof, straight bourbon whiskey, and let me give you the age on it. I thought this was interesting. 35 months aged. It's like a toddler. It's how old is your kid? That's 35 months. I'm going to start doing that with all my whiskeys. I'm going to introduce them in months. Well, 100 proof, and we are ready to get into this one today. Look at the color on this. That is beautiful stuff. We've only had a couple of Ironroots, but we've enjoyed them all.
Yes.
Wow, you also Julie poured me here. Look at
I
that.
did. Sorry about that.
Good stuff. It's going to be a great day.
It says it's only 35 months, but that Texas heat, man, it's like it's been 4, 5, 6 years.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, even with their toddlers, would say, that's enough after 35 months.
Yeah.
That's a terrible thing to
That's
say.
enough.
Let's get on to the nose of this Ironroot.
And I made a joke at the beginning about big brashness, but this nose really does have all of that. It is explosive with flavor. It is a bit brash. There is some cola notes in there. Mm-hmm. There's oak. I mean, it is unapologetically aromatastic.
It smells to me like a cowboy took a bunch of cherries, set it on the saddle on his horse, and jumped up and smushed it. It's just leathery, cherry, cola, brown sugar, musty oak. A lot to like here. I'm ready to go in.
Yeah, and you're a fan of Texas.
I'm a fan of all kinds of things. Cheers.
Cheers. It does seem to be one of the things we can suss out, if I'm allowed to use that annoying term, suss.
I think it's a great term. And it honestly, yeah, I mean, Texas whiskeys have a vibe to them. Mm-hmm. Wow. This one makes my mouth water. This is big flavor, very brash.
What is the proof on this?
100.
That's it?
Mm-hmm.
It tastes warmer than that.
I don't know. It drinks a touch warmer. It does, because there is a spice there. A little cinnamon, I think. But that caramel, that rich, like river of caramel, it's so nice. And the brown sugar is hanging around. That cherry note shows up on the finish. The leather, that musty oak, it's all there. Everything from the nose to the palate, even to the finish. It is a whiskey that tells the truth.
Oh, I like that. You're getting that punch of flavor right at the front, but then it kind of like clings to the inside of your mouth, the inside of your throat. I like Texas whiskey.
You don't have to say it so quietly.
I know.
You're not doing anything wrong. I really enjoy the texture of this whiskey.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, like, you ever have a hard candy, you put it in your pocket, it's 100 degrees outside, 8 hours later you reach in, you pull it out, and it's almost flexible.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, I'm still going to eat this. And you eat it, and it's just kind of like slimy on your tongue. Super gross, right? This whiskey does the same thing, less gross. It's got a hard candy that's been in your pocket all day sort of vibe to it. Nobody else is going to give you a tasting note like that, right?
I was just about to say that the Bourbon Man here for all your random reviews.
Yeah, the most idiotic things, too. There is a root beer barrel quality to it. So let's say that. It's a root beer barrel, hard candy in your pocket for 8 hours, then you pop it in your mouth and it's slimy. That's what I like about this whiskey.
I was going to say a cola note on this. I'm getting back to the real tasting here, but...
Should I leave?
No, but not that what you're saying isn't true. But I was going to say it's a cola note, but when you said root beer barrel candy, that is the flavor that you kind of get, just that old school flavor. I just like that leather note kind of comes through. The flavors do have its own ambiance. Like, I feel like I should be outside with these bold flavors. It should be hot, maybe a little sweaty, but you're still drinking your whiskey and you're having a great time.
Yeah, I mean, the leathery note is the thing that's sticking around long after all the other flavors dissipate. That leather's still there. So quality, big nose, enormous palate that shifts from sip to sip, and a leathery finish that lingers. If that doesn't scream Texas, I don't know what does, and I am very happy with this whiskey. A big tip of the cowboy hat to Ironroot Republic for this one. I actually think this is a fantastic whiskey, and I'm very happy that we took a flyer on this. Now, there's one more thing that we have to talk about when we're talking about El Paso, and that is food. Well, you know, the Bourbon Van, we love our tacos, and we weren't going to miss out when we were in El Paso. Check this out.
We're driving through El Paso, didn't know what to expect, ended up at a little taco shop. The best tacos I've ever had in my entire life. Totally worth the stop. Now I want to stay here a couple more days just to eat more tacos.
What's this place called?
Taconeta. I think I got that right, actually.
You might have.
Taconeta. It's delicious. Try it out. I loved that place. The margaritas, we had elote that I didn't have to, they took it off the cob for me, which was even better. The tacos were so delicious. Did you love it?
Absolutely. The shrimp and cheese tacos, I've had that a couple of times now on this trip. I've never seen that anywhere before. Southwest, you're changing the game for me. I'm loving this. And yeah, these tacos are absolutely amazing. This restaurant was fantastic. You gotta go if you get the chance. But then there was one other place that we went to as well. What'd you think of this one?
Get the green enchiladas. So this place was more of a classic style, what you kind of come to expect when you go out for Mexican food. If you happen to go to this restaurant, you have to get the green chili enchilada. Trust me, it was unlike any enchilada I've ever had. The green chilies on the top, that sauce, it was so delicious. I think surpassed any food that we've had on this trip so far. It was mouth-watering delicious. I can't talk enough about the green chili enchiladas. Get them.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that, because what I ordered was just a piece of meat smothered in cheese. When they told me what it was, I was like, yeah, that sounds great. I should have gone with the enchiladas just like you did. They definitely looked a lot better than what I had. So for me, Taconeta takes the cake. I thought that was an easy choice. I loved what they had to offer.
And I loved L&J. That green chili enchilada was next level. I want everybody to try it.
Well, we absolutely enjoyed our time in El Paso. We didn't get to spend as much time as we would have liked, but we went for a run on the Rio Grande River. We got to even look into Juarez City, Mexico, and look across the border, which was just so cool. Join us next week, though, when we're going back to New Mexico to a cool place called Truth or Consequences. You don't want to miss that from wherever we are.
To wherever you are.
Cheers.
Cheers. I like it.
It's so satisfying.
Join us next week in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, and a very cool state park, one of my favorites of the whole trip so far, and we're going to be drinking Andalusia Striker Single Malt Whiskey.